Ah. Howdy, lurker. Hey, Bob. What's up? Any new baits? Hey, Frank. What's up in Canada? Sitting up there enjoying a nice, smooth Canadian mist cocktail. Bob still throws a jig. Or Frank does. Jeremy, you don't strike me as a jig guy, honestly. That's surprising. That surprises me, honestly. That surprises me. Bob, you're a big jig fisherman. What is your favorite? What is everybody's favorite jig brand? Do you go custom or do you go Strike King bootlegger? Or do you go Denny Brower Pro Model from Walmart? Burns, not a jig dude. Tom, what kind of jigs do you like? That's one thing I've never gotten into. I used to punch with a jig back in the day, but it was because we were idiots and we didn't know what we were doing. But when we first started flipping water hyacinths, we did it with a jig. But the only reason we did it with a jig was because we could physically stick our rod tips through the water hyacinths, and the jig wouldn't mess up. And I skirted like a a regular jig. I mean, a regular worm would come off the hook. Dirty jigs, or I buy the 3 to 5 packs of Santon and build my own skirts at North Texas Investments. I didn't know Santon sold blankies. Jim, you make the almighty 5/16 jig, don't you? AJ, you don't have to answer. We already know. You make a jig and you make one color, Mindy Magic. We've heard. We've seen its power. AJ, do you have any jigs with 5/0 hooks in them? By chance? Do you have any power jigs? Do you have any alpha jigs instead of that beta shit you throw? You do. Hey, Steve. What's up, Brian? No, I was just curious what everybody throws. Paint and Tide, no problem. Ooh, 7/16. It's a nice size. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know what those eyes were, AJ. I'm still confused. Oh, Brendan, only in Amy's dreams. Jigs are my favorite, with Cheddar's a close second. They were peeling. Jeremy, have you ever considered Being a jig aficionado, what typically happens with jig aficionados is they end up pouring their own jigs. Has that bug ever bit you? I guess if you're happy with your jigs, that bug would have not bitten you. If you're happy with what you can buy and they work, all is well. All is well in the Conkrite house. You know what? I don't like that, the way I just did that. I don't like the way I just did that. Oh, 4 jigs all morning. That's fun. How many hundred did you pour? If I had a place to do it, I would. D&L makes a good jig. Their little baby one's pretty sweet. Baby advantage. 2 beds and drop shot weights. Gross. What sizes did you pour? Hopefully only one, and you didn't waste your time. Because the people have spoken. There is only one size. You know what's funny is as cumbersome or as hard as it can be and time consuming it can be to make your own jigs. It's funny that when you start making them yourself, you're much more likely to break them off quicker. Like, oh, I'll make them pop. When you've probably got more time and money into making that jig than you do paying $4 for one. Terminator. I used to really like the Terminator jig. The hook was kind of shitty, but it was pretty decent. I always liked their jig, that shape of their head. It was kind of like a there was a what was that name? It was a really popular jig when I was in high school. Doctor Death. It looked kind of like the Do It brush jig before the brush jig. Uh, Doctor Death. It was a cool jig. I don't know if you could find those anymore, but it was kind of like a stone jig with a recessed line tie. I don't know who the brains behind the Doctor Death jig were, but they were sweet. They were sweet. Was that were those local to anybody else or just me? Bob, did you pretend you were? Did you pretend this was? Did you pretend you were CJ and mod some Ristos? This is live. This is not deja vu. Although it probably looks like it. But I had spoke to a gentleman yesterday, and he agreed to make me some jigs. And what's up, John? And I asked him if he would make me some jigs in my colors and put them on his heads, which I'd like to have my heads, but it needs a different hook. Hold on, go sneeze. So yesterday I started digging around because he said, send me some samples that you want me to match. So I started thinking, I was like, where are all my jigs? So I started digging around, and then I started thinking, I said, well, out of all my jigs, if he was going to match the best ones and make like a super jig, which ones would it be? So I started digging around. There's one for certain. I have one that is, I don't know what it is. And if you saw it, it wouldn't blow your dick off. Like, you wouldn't be like, oh my God, I've never seen such an exquisite jig. It's pretty, but like I said, if you were walking by it in the store, it might catch your eye. But it's my favorite color. I was thinking about doing this one. That's one of my other colors. It's like roadkill. You must have gave me what you got going on head, but like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Yes, mine is just like I'm full of snot and I sneeze. That's my symptoms. I was laying in bed last night and I probably sneezed 8 times before I went to bed, or more. It was in bursts. It was in 3-round bursts, and I shot myself up with probably 30 doses of nose spray because the little squirter wasn't squirting that good. So I just went. Looking back, probably ingested a little too much nose stuff, but we'll see. It goes and comes. Zicam nose swabs. I don't know what we had. We had some sort of. I like the spray. As sick as it is, I like that like shot of pain in my nose, where you blast and then you're like, oh, and it runs down your sinuses into your throat. But back to jigs. So I was trying to concoct something I wanted to do, but it's hard to narrow down because I've got the other thing I had to do was I had to go back and look, because I used to buy all my skirts from fishingskirts.com. I don't know if any of you guys have ever used that site. I'm sure you have if you buy jig skirts. They used to be awesome back in the day, mid 2000s. They had great colors. They had new stuff. They were growing their business. They were, had some pretty different shit that a lot of people didn't have. FishingSkirts.com was the place to go for cool looking skirts. But problem with that is I've got like most of my skirts here were ordered over 10 years ago. So I started looking at their website. Not the same website I ordered 10 years ago from. So there's a lot of the colors that are used in these jigs that don't exist anymore. So that is an issue. But I found most of them, I think, with the exception of probably my favorite color, which is in this jig. So that's unfortunate. Maybe I just didn't find the right section yet, but I've been trying to find my old orders so I get the number of the skirt, and then I can plug it into the search and see if it exists anymore. Hey, Darius, talking about pouring jigs. I believe JP did get my molds. They're probably still riding around in the back of his truck. OSP makes a color like that. But dude, I wish I had time to just sit around and make up jig colors. It was like the most fun thing. I used to have so much fun just sitting around making up jigs, and I would use they were so stupid because I would put like one strand of something in it or like two strands, and they would take forever, and but it was very enjoyable. I would like to do that. I would like to do that again. But I think in order for that to be fun, you have to fish because you need to be on the water seeing scenarios of what because they all bring like every time you go fishing it leads you down some other wormhole, whether it's colors or techniques or something. You see something on the water and you just look at the water and you're like, oh, I bet this color jig would work right now. And sometimes people keep that stuff in their boat. I was never that huge on making skirts on the boat. Brand depends on how I'm fishing the jig, but I throw a bitsy flip a lot. Swim jig is 30 jigs or Cumberland Post swim jig. It's got some Crocker Gator flipping jigs. That sounds good. Those are old school brand. Bitsy flip. Can't go wrong with that. What is on my hand? I swim a bit. I've swam a bitsy flip from for years. I've probably swam a bitsy flip in miles. You could measure how much I've swam a bitsy flip. I like the way a bitsy flip swims. Make jigs and cheddars all day. Yeah, I think that's where the fun. Evaporates, Brian. Like building a dozen where you can like nerd out and put like 3 strands of each color in it and make like this super badass looking jig. That's fun. Building a couple hundred that need to be sold in 3 days and then do it all over again. I think you have to have people for that. Darius, you haven't poured jigs in 3 years? When you pour, you must go hard, dude. The longer I do it, the less colors I make. Do you mean the less involved the colors are, or the more limited your color selection is with you have like 3 colors rather than 6 colors, or do you only use like 2 colors per skirt? No, it doesn't, AJ. We just copy yours. We just copy yours. Right? Isn't that the way to do it? Isn't that the way of the world these days? If Heather leaves Frank, he's going to replace her with airbrushes and lure lead melting pots. I use 2 colors, black and blue, green pumpkin. Sometimes I'll have flake. That's it. Are you picky about your blue? Let me know what clip works when you copy it. I haven't figured that one out yet. You don't feel like you have the perfect clip? You don't feel like the perfect clip exists? Well, we'll all know when Frank posts. Gonna try this jig pouring out. Oh no, Frank. They got sick of your shit, huh? Yeah, I actually used to. I enjoyed low volume jig making. Um, Straight black jig. Bob, that's too old. That's too generic. Certainly, you couldn't catch fish on just black. Where's the fun in that? A lot of guys that swim a solid black jig. You don't see many guys pitching a solid black jig too much. All black with brown chunk. That is a jig color that I was never a huge proponent of. And all those Ozark guys, Arkansas dudes, I know if Morgan was in here, he'd be chubbed up about it. A damn brown jig. I have never gravitated towards brown. I don't, maybe it's just me. I've put brown mixed in with stuff. I used to throw a black, brown, and blue jig, uh, but I never, like, guys talk about using like all brown jigs, the little brown jig. Brown was never my thing. You have a JDM trailer. Getting ready to go fly yanking. For bass or pinfish? Smallies in the river, that's fun. Do you use like streamers or what kind of, or do you use like a popper? Ozark crawfish are brown and green. I guess that's what it is, Burns. It's the crawfish up there brown. I don't know. You know what's weird though is you see in Town Lake, there's a creek that runs into the Colorado River right there in Austin, and Barton Creek, and it's a tourist destination. But if you go down there at night and you shine a flashlight in the water, you'll see these crawfish, and they are like neon red. They look like boiled crawfish, and and you would think um, that a like a fire engine red, black and red jig or brown and red jig would be really awesome, but it's one of those colors that I feel like matches a lot of crawfish across the country that doesn't catch them that good for whatever reason. Like I know a ton of guys throw black and red stuff like speed crawls and like soft plastics and stuff, but it's never been. And I've caught a million on a black neon tube, but it's never been a great jig color for me. I don't know if it's just me from not fishing it, but couldn't tell you. You decide on the colors. No, I'm gonna do a crawl and a shad, but I won't know. I won't know exactly what that consists of uh, until I walk in there and start slanging. I mean, I can make up my mind in here all day, but it always changes when I get in. When I get in there, and everything is erased. Everything gets erased, and then I just start going. I'll give it a look, Jeremy. Would you like me to read it to the class? Would you like for me to read it audibly to the class? Or is it too long? Float and fly. I saw that on the Woolly Booger and Olive because it's that sounds fishy. Oh. A camper session. Read books. Read nighttime stories. Once upon a time, there was this man named Stan Sloan, and he made really good nighttime spinnerbaits that took Tennessee by storm. And then legend of his spinner baits grew, and they went farther and farther out into the country, and other people began catching fish at night on his spinner baits. Wasn't that him, or is he the Punisher guy? If you're not throwing a jig, I question your fishing skills. Yeah. I kind of got away from the old jig. Kind of sad. But it's not like I replaced it with soft plastics. Like I still always have a jig tied on. But I feel like I punch more now than I do seek out a jig bite. The difference in me now and old jig me was that old me would have like 5 different sizes, and now I take like a half ounce and a 3/8, and that's it. But in the old days, I would just cycle through sizes. Now I'll just pitch a half ounce, and if it doesn't get bid, I'll just move on to something else. I'll go back to reeling something fast. Burns, is that a record? Fourth grader Brendan. Where's Brendan for story time? He's supposed to be on his lunch break. I did get great joy out of seeing young Brendan slay bass on his not Tacklecraft spinnerbait, his Stanley baby wedge. He bought a baby wedge off of eBay that I had planned on getting, but instead young Brendan sniped it, took it out to the lake, and he said he's caught upwards of 50 bass on that one spinnerbait, and it's wrecked, and it looks awesome. I don't know why, but the half doesn't get bit like a 3/8 does. I don't know. It depends. I think a 3/8 is the perfect fall. It depends on how heavy your skirt is. Like the way some people build skirts where they're like 80 strand or 70 strand or even 60 strand. I don't like 60 strand. I like 45 strand. 40 is even pushing it, but I like a 40 strand to be bit down to about 25 strand. Good evening, Gator. So but I've seen people pull out like half ounce jigs, like with a 60 strand skirt or more, and like a tube crawl, or you know what I mean, like a tube crawl on it, and then like that big of a skirt, and then you watch them pitch it, and you watch the fall, and it looks like a damn marshmallow floating. Like it's like a quarter ounce fall because there's so much puff in there. I don't like that. I have a specific fall rate I look for and my jigs and I mean my trailers and skirt thickness usually facilitate that. But I've never really cared for a slow falling jig. I guess because you know why, AJ? I couldn't feel it. Couldn't feel it. Tie one on, throw it till you lose it. That's a good mentality. Skimpy skirts with easy access. Don't we all? Don't we all? Later, Bob. Uh, if I want to slow the jig down, I throw a different trailer on it. Yeah, I typically don't. Like, there's only so bulky I'll go on a trailer, and I don't even know what that would be, honestly. I can't think of a jig trailer that I like that I would be like, oh, I want to slow this half ounce jig down and like I would just switch to a 3/8. But I don't know that I have that trailer. Uh, keep it simple and keep it wet. Oh, was he talking about jig fishing? Or was he talking or was that bar advice? Was that going home late from the bar advice? Oh, it was a jig advice. I didn't know if he was talking to a group of young college students. Gator, you got to get that half ounce going, dude. Jeremy, if I had to bet, I would bet there were some dirty undertones in that lesson that he probably found amusing, and he's like, they're going to print this shit in Bassmasters. I'm going to say it anyway. Keep it simple. Keep it wet. They have to entertain themselves somehow, talking about the same shit over and over and over and over again. AJ's 5/16 works well for me. I've been trying to find my place in the jig category. Uh, maybe Gator, I'll send you a 7/16 to try. If you're really feeling exotic, I can send you a 9/16. Depends on how you want to puff your chest up, how big, how alpha you want to go. Keith Dees is calling me. Keith, if you're listening, I'm ignoring you. Anthony, good question. Do 16ths matter? I don't know, but I use them a lot. So anybody that knows me knows that I've pretty much have only thrown a 5/16 slip sinker on a Texas rig if I'm just pitching for eternity. From the lead days to the tungsten days, it was always 5/16. Like since I started. Uh, so when I was looking for a jig, I found a mold that was in 16ths. It was in 5/16, 7, 9, and 11. And I was like, dude, I can match my jigs to my which is not the same. Like a sinker on a sweet beaver, 5/16 on a sweet beaver, and a 5/16 jig doesn't have the same fall, obviously. But in my mind, I was like, oh, 16ths is the deal. So a 5/16 jig probably falls more like a, I don't know, quarter ounce, maybe less. Uh, but so I went with a 5/16 jig and a 7/16, and that was my that was always my jigs of choice. But if you if you took all those away and traded them for 3/8, I wouldn't care. Uh, like I wouldn't think I wouldn't think I was sabotaged and like unable to catch bass. But for whatever reason, I just always gravitated towards the 16ths just because they were odd, I guess. Um, Normal weight is an 1/8 or 3/16. Wow, that's light. I use an 1/8 and a 3/16 when I swim a worm. It takes too long to get to the bottom, bro. But sometimes it's what they want. As I age, I'm working on simplifying my selection of baits. Yeah, I can relate to that in a way. What I do is I narrow it down to what I like to do, and then I get like super nerdy in that category. I don't buy everything. I never have. The way I've always looked at it was trying to fill. What do I need, like in cranking, which is where Burns comes in for me, which is how we got to be friends. Was that I was always trying to fill voids in my cranking game that I couldn't buy off the shelf. So I would call Burns and say, Burns, can you fill this gap? I want to E1, but I want it a little bit smaller than an E1 because in the fall E1 might be a little much. I think I get more bites on a little bit smaller bait, but not like a micro bait. But I want it to be an E1, just like we called it a 0.75 E.75. Uh, so but like I don't go out there and buy fucking spiders and bullshit like that. I pretty much know what I'm going to do. But occasionally a weird bait comes out that interests me that I think I could use or make work. That I'll tell myself I'm going to try and then still not order it. Hey, South J. Uh, they don't bite it, move to a different category. There you go. I do think I'm going to get back into the lead game, but it's going to be super simple, and it's going to be just like pretty standard color heads. It's not gonna be anything fancy. Something I can drop in a bag and ship. And I won't be doing the pouring or painting. So, but I have an idea of something that I can't find that I looked for. I scoured the internet and I couldn't find them. So I need to make them. Or I don't need to make them. I just need to sell them and have them produced for my own selfish stockpile reasons. But trying to get a piece of my empire. Trying to squeeze in, AJ. Trying to squeeze in. Trying to squeeze in and take my $60 in jig sales and ride off into the sunset. The other reason I want jigs and things of that nature is because I love volume on the wall. Like I love like having neatly packaged stuff, like 50, 100 packs of them stuck on the wall, just because it's nice decor, and it brings me joy. Which I probably and when I was in Austin, there was a time where I painted up like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna paint like as many crankbaits as I can, and I'm just gonna package them and like have them. I painted like 150 baits, and I put them all in packages, put hooks on them, hung them on the wall. I didn't sell them for a while because I enjoyed looking at them. Huh? Which is a no-no, but what color? I'm going to do a crawl, Darius, and I'm going to do some sort of shad. I just got some of Cuta's 8-ounce sliders and football jigs. I have one on spinning rod and the other on baitcaster. I don't know that I want a football head. I think I own them, but I don't have skirts on them. I used to. First Marie Kondo attitude. Yeah, I don't know. I don't minimize. I maximize the clutter. I'm going to talk trash in jig bait universe. You're gonna roast me in there? We have a Mindy Magic color for the backboaters. Yes, but it won't be called Mindy Magic. I think it'll be called like backboater scum or like co-trash or co-scum. Something like that. Just make super passive aggressive comments. Huh? Alex Flint. Does anyone still throw jigs? Not really, no. Paul Paul's. Co-cheese. I like co-scum. Something along those lines. Co-trash. Back trash. Same, Anthony. I just stare at my base. I'm sitting there watching YouTube. I enjoy going into my lunker bunker. And if have you trademarked that, Anthony? The lunker bunker. There is a great amount of joy that all this worthless shit brings me. The Muffin Man, that's a good one. That is a good one. AJ, are you going to be pissed when I come out with the Muffin Man jig and it's #1 top seller on Tackle Warehouse? When you get on Tackle Warehouse, even though you don't shop there, you shop at Omnia, and you get on there and you look and you say, let's see what's the hot sellers. What is this jig? Never seen it before. Muffin Man. Muffin Man. Or if I could, maybe I could tie. No, I don't want to take a jab at the whole state of Nebraska. Drury Lane. South Jersey just felt like deja vu. Go complete my case, you deaf ears in jig bait universe. Yeah, they'll say, looks like a jig to me. Looks like a jig to me. I did find a box of jigs yesterday over here in the corner when I was trying to find color samples. This isn't Mindy. This is too. This is too Gordy for Mindy. Let's see if I can find a Mindy's Magic in here that predates Mindy's Magic. AJ, would you be disappointed? Or would you claim that I came home and tied them as soon as I got home? That's not one. It's an orange Mindy's Magic. Amy's creeping in the hall. She's creeping around. Oof. Hide that one. Oof. Hide that one. Five-incher. That's what happens when you fly fish, Frank. Everybody knows that. It's not about the size of the bass. It's about telling all your friends you caught them on a fly rod. Blowing your chest out to all the conventional guys about how much better you are than them because you caught it on a 6-weight. This color used to be really good. I don't know why I quit throwing it. Good question, me. Good question, me. Ancient swim jig. Something. Keep that one out. That was the jig. Oldham's. Screw lock. Like $3.99 for a 2-pack. Tried to make myself like Brown. Nope. That one's sexy. Sit that on the side. What else we got in here? Nice looking. Swim jig. That thing. Dude, I always thought this jig was going to be awesome. This is a Falcon jig. I bought this color. It sucked. It sucked. Oh, my sweet. Power up. Team Luigi. Looks good. How many are left? Uh-oh, AJ. Uh-oh, AJ. I'm coming for you with this little micro jig. Look how terrible I cut that skirt. What was I thinking? I don't even know what hook that is. I like it, though. Let's see if I can straighten this out. Oh, I wire tied it. What a buffoon. All right. Nothing good there. Just 10-year-old jigs. Brandon and Chris, the Noisy Docs, will be here next week. It took longer than expected. LP, I do like the spider type brown ball head jigs. What are you trying to catch with that? Sharks? Does that give you? Is that a mop jig to you, AJ? Is that too much? You see that and you go, what? What is this guy doing? I set the hook today on a new TFO resolve rod with a mini magic jig and the line broke. I must have had a nick in it. No, Gator, you didn't have a nick in it. AJ pre-nicks his line ties, so when you set the hook, your line breaks, so you have to buy more jigs. Trade secret. Brilliant, I know. It's working. Yep. But it's not the secret to nicking your if you're a jig maker, the secret to nicking your line ties is you don't do it so much that the line breaks initially. It's a slow burn. So it's just a little sliver of a burr that works its way through about, I don't know, like 3 fish is about the max. Um, that way, you get your confidence up, and you're like, this thing works. And then your line pops. Damn it! I need more Mindy Magics. And you get on his website and you clean him out, and then you just load up, and he just keeps pumping those Mindy Magics out. No crankbaits anymore. Lots of Mindy Magics. I just wanted to set the record straight. In the TK Goes North video, he wasn't just standing in the back stroking smallies because he wanted to hang out. The magic of editing. AJ, where else was I supposed to go? On the front of the boat with Hella? No, I was backboat trash just like you, so I went where I was supposed to go, back there by the damn power poles. The LPJ with the ball head is almost the only jig I use. Solid brown skirt. All right, I gotta get my little cubes and go get these cleaned up. Good talking to you dudes. Made it for an hour. Enjoyed our lunchtime together. Y'all be good. Thank you for sticking around. We'll chat next time. There were hours of code trash caddy comments missing. Yeah, there were. I think Hella should do like a greatest hits and just do nothing but like trash talk if he's got it on there. But that would take a lot of, because he would have to listen to it rather than watch it. A director's cut, yes. So, anyway, good talking to y'all. Y'all be good. I'll keep y'all updated on this jig thing. But y'all be good. Talk to you later. See you.